Welcome back. My name is Johan Thorsson, and I've been working in this field since 1997. Currently, I'm a Studies Committee member and lecturer at the UNU Land Restoration Training Program. Now, let me ask you this. What do you think of when I say land degradation? Maybe you think of land that has been cleared of forest or large-scale cultivation or grazing, like in the Amazon, or you may be thinking of land that has been damaged by wrong use of irrigation and has lost its fertility due to salinization. Both of these are examples of land degradation. But what does it mean, land degradation? How would you explain to another person what land degradation is? Write it down now and keep it in mind while watching this video. After watching this video, you will be able to explain what land degradation is and how land degradation affects ecosystem services, processes, and resilience. You will also be able to describe the main processes, signs, and drivers of land degradation. In our last video, you learned about the importance of the energy, water, and nutrient cycles for the functioning of the ecosystems. They are all interlinked, and if these cycles, which we call ecosystem processes, are damaged or broken, it results in reduced capacity of the ecosystem to provide goods and services. This is what we call land degradation, or ecosystem collapse, if one or more are missing or severely dysfunctional. Land degradation occurs when the crucial ecosystem processes are disturbed in a negative way due to use of land, causing loss of vegetation cover and soil fertility, affecting the main processes and functions of the ecosystems. Land degradation can go fast, as can be the case of deforestation or forest fires, but often land degradation is a very slow process. Yet, slow but continued degradation can lead to virtually irreversible losses of resources from the ecosystem, and the land will degrade beyond self-repair, or what we call destroyed or collapsed system. Degradation may be so slow that it takes longer than one generation to become manifested as changes in the environment. Because of this, we often overlook land degradation, and it can therefore go unnoticed from generation to generation until there suddenly is no way back. But recognizing land degradation is not enough. We also have to know the causes of land degradation to be able to prevent it. Land degradation occurs all over the globe and is driven by different factors that can be classified as direct and indirect drivers. The direct drivers are land conversion, such as drainage of wetlands to improve grazing land, or land clearing to expand arable cultivation. Other direct drivers are overexploitation by too high grazing pressure, pollution, species introduction, natural hazards, and also climate change. The indirect drivers are related to market developments, economic, socio-political, demographic, cultural, and technological changes that may lead to changes in land use or land management decisions. It is clear that the direct and indirect drivers are linked. Land conversion, for example, and overexploitation are linked to population growth and the need for food and energy production for the global population. But land conversion and overexploitation are also linked to businesses that are driven by short-term and immediate profit in monetary terms. Increasing demand for food and fiber often results in increasing intensity of cropping systems and cultivation of marginal lands. When this exceeds the capacity of the land degradation occurs. So when the ecosystem cannot sustain or increasing needs of food and fiber, poverty results and livelihoods are at stake. People start to migrate, first locally, then globally. That results in disruption of the social system we know, with local, national, and global consequences. This has occurred repeatedly in the human history. Throughout history, societies have depended on fertile soils and productive ecosystems. Expansion of ancient empires was based on control over ever-increasing areas with fertile soil to grow food. But societal collapse was brought on by an unsustainable use of the land, which exhausted the soil and caused collapse of ecosystems. Mismanagement of our natural capital is still ongoing and is manifested in the displacement of people today and the increasing refugee crisis. On the other hand, based on centuries of experience, local communities often have adopted strategies of sustainable land use. Practices such as terraces or application of organic amendments. However, often these strategies are abandoned due to intensified land use, practices, external markets pressures, or when the local knowledge is lost. Today, we have all the means to learn from history and prevent land degradation as soon as we see the first signs. But how do we recognize land degradation? Can you think of some signs that tell you that the land is degrading? The first visible signs of degradation can be changes in vegetation cover, reduced productivity, or changes in species composition. There are, however, other changes occurring as well. Locally, the soil organic reserves become reduced, which is one of the most pronounced signs of land degradation. Remember that soil organic carbon plays a crucial role in many ecosystem processes. Losing the soil carbon throughout land degradation affects its fertility and production capacity, but also the soil's capacity to retain soil water. This can be subtle and hard to detect if we are not vigilant. If the vegetation cover continues to decline or the surface is left bare after harvesting, water and wind can reach the surface and cause erosion. The force of running water and wind on the surface removes the most fertile part of the soil first. The soil organic matter and clays that are light and easily picked up and transported. These fine particles hold the energy, the nutrient, and water reserves of the system. Loss of those particles degrades the fertility of the land even further. Common signs of water and wind erosion are pedestals, rills, and gullies, as you can see on these photos. All these on-site degradation processes are leading to loss of soil fertility, but they can also have severe off-site impact, such as floods, sedimentation of streams, deltas, harbors, reservoirs, and other damage to our infrastructure. One clear example is the fact that globally reservoirs are losing on average around 1% of their storage capacity annually, with foreseeable consequences for water supply, flood control, and electricity supply in the future. You will realize by now that land degradation is the outcome of unsustainable use of our resources and is costing us a lot in terms of lost agricultural production and other ecosystem services. But when land degrades, we are losing even more. Degraded land is less prepared to resist disturbances than healthy land. In ecology, this is called a loss of resilience. Resilience is the capacity of an ecosystem to self-recover from a disturbance, such as forest fire, drought, or land mismanagement. Stage 1 on the slide represents healthy ecosystem, the green line, where you can see that the land can recover from a disturbance relatively fast. Stages 2 and 3 represent degraded ecosystems. They are more sensitive to disturbances and may not recover to a similar state following a disturbance. What is important here is that degraded land is not as efficient as healthy land in tolerating disturbances brought on by nature or by human activities. Let us not be blind to the main cause of land degradation in the world. It is unsustainable land use and overexploitation of land resources. But land degradation is often more severe where land is prone to natural stress caused by fluctuating climate, droughts, or torrential rains. However, the main cause, and the only one that we can address directly, is unsustainable land use. Now, how would you explain to your colleague what land degradation is? Write it down. Land degradation refers to changes in ecosystem processes, energy, nutrient, and water cycles that result in reduced capacity of ecosystems to provide goods and ecosystem services. Today, with all the wealth of information and ability to share knowledge at our hands, we can all make a difference. We do not have to repeat the errors of the past. We can make our land use sustainable. To help us do that, we will tell you about the concepts of land condition and land potential and how they can be used to recognize suitable management actions. That will be the topic of the next video.